allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. We'll start off with our public comment, Montana Minute, Commissioner Community Update. And as usual, I want you to hold your comments to 5 minutes or less, and you will have a chance, as time permits, on issues as they come about. So it's open for public comment. John?
Mr. Slifka, I appreciate you escorting me in so I can sit and listen and learn a little bit what's happening in our county since things have changed around so much. The banning order that's been put on me has been pretty restrictive, and I want to thank you for your cooperating and helping me. Thank you.
And you know the conditions that take place. Okay. Anybody else, any comments? Joan?
Yeah, you've mentioned that you want to have meetings in the commissioner's room downstairs. I was going to ask Elaine if we had a fire, wouldn't it be easier for her to get out the fire escape down there and try to get here? Because the elevators won't be working.
Right, right. Okay, thank you. Any other comments? A couple things here. We need a signature.
Are you gonna do Montana Minute or Commissioner?
I said it
Community?
was open for Montana Minute and Community Update.
Well, for Montana Minute, I would like to, just shout out for anybody who is unaware, which I don't think anyone is. My Montana Minute is Elaine Blakely. She has dedicated her life to public service. She's ill today, but, nobody, in my opinion, has done as much for their county or their state than Elaine has. She has put her health in the back seat for this county the last 2 years so that we can get work done. She continues to put the county before herself personally every single Monday whenever there's another meeting. And I just want to share my heartfelt thanks and appreciation for Elaine for Montana Minute. And for the Commissioner's Community Update, since we're all rolling them together, there were a slew of meetings last week. There was Parks and Rec, Mental Health, Local Advisory Council, Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative, Strategic Planning meeting for the school, that was interesting. We Board, and then the Crime Prevention Conference and Chamber of Commerce dinner. But what I wanted to bring up and talk about, Franklin, is Board of Health. Our Public Health Office is currently writing a grant, and this would help the Board of Health determine a community assessment. And the Mental Health Local Advisory Council will also be working on the same thing. A lot of mental health councils are paired with the Board of Health, so we would like to combine our next meeting. Before talking to Mike Stevenson of the council, I wanted to bring it to the board and get the approval of the board to do that.
And when's the next meeting? It's in
We're
April? or-
looking at it's in March this month. Looking at the 16th, if that works for the council, and 6 meetings a year versus 4, especially with this community assessment coming up. So if the commission is agreeable to that, I will determine a date certain with the council. What say you, Franklin?
The 16th, you said?
No, that's what we're targeting right now.
Right.
But like I said, I would like the commission to agree to this idea before taking it to the Mental Health Local Advisory Council and getting their input on a day and time. Are you in
Yeah, I'm
agreement?
okay with that.
All right. And then we have John Mott downstairs in the old meeting room in the basement. We have our annual Denning and Downing audit going on this week. So, and then the other thing I wanted to share is RY Timber just got 2 timber sales on National Forest land. So we're going in the right direction on that vein. So kudos to RY Timber. That's all I have.
I'll read this letter off here. Dana should have a copy of it, I assume. This is on that Flynn Lane Dry Creek Road mitigation. It's from WWC. And it says, Franklin, this email to follow up Sean's email that he sent you yesterday attaches a funding commitment letter that you will need to sign and return to our office. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call or email. It's for assistance. And this is the one, I thought that was dead, but evidently it's alive.
Yeah, I never got it. so.
Oh, didn't you? Oh, okay. I read, apparently, I'll read this other letter off here. From Canada, Montana Disaster Emergency Services, okay, dear Kansas, letters to confirm that Broward County is applying for a hazardous disaster mitigation grant for the Flynn Lake Dry Creek Mitigation Project and is fully aware that the project funding will be conducted as follows. The funding is $65,000, Broadwater comes over $21,000, and the total project is $87,000. These are your rough figures there. It is understood the total project cost project is based upon preliminary estimates and may be subject to change. It is also understood that Broward County is prepared to satisfy its match by either cash or well-documented in-kind contributions. The value of these local contributions may exceed the maximum 25% match amount required. Broward County will collect and provide detailed documentation to verify cash in kind and other task match expenditures associated with this project for submission in quarterly reports. And then on the other one, he said he had talked to you, and everything was okay in your budget on it.
Which one's this? I'm
I
not
thought
getting what you're
this was
getting.
attached with it, but this was the second one. On this 25% on this.
Okay, I haven't talked to Sean, and I don't know how long. I haven't talked to Sean.
Okay, well, actually, the one that sent it was Robert Nehart.
Okay.
He works with them.
Yeah, I haven't got anything from WWC in a long time, so I guess I don't know.
But he said he talked to you.
You know, the last time I talked to Sean, it was on, actually, this Goose Bay thing out here, and that's been a while back.
Yeah, and last I heard, I thought it didn't sound like it was gonna be much, but apparently. Okay,
Can I
well,
see your letter?
huh?
Can I look at your letter?
Yeah.
And that, it doesn't say what that's, we were talking about a box pipe there, right? Is that
The box culvert?
what we were talking about right there, wasn't it?
Mhm.
This is not the TSAP.
No, this is a
separate.
mitigation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That we went out, we did a little tour last fall.
About in August, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. We went out there with DES and Franklin and Mike Conkey.
I think Franklin, when he says, I thought this was dead, was talking about TSAP. This one is never on the chopping block.
No, this was just they were just trying to get it together, and I haven't heard anything since.
Mhm.
Well, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be a good deal for that. So I can get a hold of Sean too, or whatever, to see what's
Yeah.
going on there.
I thought I had that other email that they'd sent, and I thought you'd got it too, because he mentioned talking to you.
Yeah.
So maybe this was when they talked, I don't know when.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I see on yours that he didn't copy me on it, so.
Mhm. So at least there's something
That-
moving in that direction.
No, that's good. That'd be good.
Franklin, would you send that this way so I can make a copy?
This one here, okay.
And I think that's it. I wonder, if that's the only one mentioned, and so I'm assuming the stuff on up the creek there is probably,
Well, they mentioned.
Maybe not.
Another one, about I think a culvert or something for washing up above,
okay,
so.
all right. And that's evidently that one just below that cattle guard where we've had all that problem with that, washing that ditch
Mhm.
through there.
Cause gal seemed to think maybe that, you know, she wasn't too sure we get any of that stuff up through.
Yeah.
But she kinda was in favor of that one there.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And this is, Department of Justice. This is, they wanna know what, the county attorneys are paid, the county and the state pays for the county attorney's wages. And they just wanna know what the, this does not be until on before August 15th. So back to you, Master. Here's the regional board membership. I'm trying to update my regional board membership list. I was wondering if you could please provide me with the name of the commissioner that will be sitting in the Cascade County Juvenile Detention Center Regional Board in Great Falls. Each year, the Regional Juvenile Detention Center in the counties in our region receive money for secure detention, electronic monitoring, and non-secure detention, and/or transportation. We plan to meet in April this year to discuss and approve the budget for the new grant year once the RFP and date has been released by the Montana Board of Crime Control. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. So we ought to keep that.
That has been, Elaine has been serving on that board for the commission.
Actually,
With her health issues, I would like to request that one of us do. And I would like to request that I serve on that board for a couple of reasons. One, I'm serving on the Youth Justice Council under the Board of Crime Control, chairman of the Board of Crime Control, and I am on the Growth Subcommittee for the Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative. I think it's a good match. I know most of these people from those different boards.
that's fine with me.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and plan on,
I will respond.
if that responded, who will be attending? Okay. Dana Rouser, monthly update.
All right, well, have a lot, we're stockpiling still, well, the weather's cooling off, you know, still,
From
so.
up here.
Yeah, we've got some pretty good piles there, but I wanna get as much as we can in there, we got some projects coming up this summer that we're gonna need all we got, so, planning on going through another week, maybe of stockpiling, and then, you know, hopefully this weather will break a little bit, you know.
Just some of the pretty good stuff with the red shale in it.
Some of it is, some of it isn't, you know what I mean?
Best you can get anyway. huh?
And what they're doing is they're coming in and they're bringing the real red stuff in different times of the day, kinda like in the afternoon, you know, and then they'll run that for a while, and then they'll start dumping the white back on it, and I don't know why they won't separate it for us, but they won't, so. And last week we were hauling, got in there and we were hauling good. They had a whole bunch of that really nice stuff. And 2 o'clock, they bring their trucks in and their big loader, and they load her up and ship it up on the hill. You know, I mean, they do it all the time, so I mean, I don't know why they do that, but they've got some reason, I guess, so. But we're getting some decent stuff, so. It's all working out pretty good. I don't know. Have you heard anything else on this VOR thing out here on the?
Yeah, Ryan has, he and I have been playing phone tag last week, but I
Okay.
was down there this weekend. One of the semis that brings in the Christmas trees
Yeah.
caused some ruts on that. They're about 12 inches deep. It's
Well, I was just out
messy.
there this morning, they still had that.
It was bad yesterday, is when I saw it, pretty bad. And Sharon's the one who called me about it to go
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah, I stopped there.
So, okay. Yeah, I told Ryan, I said, let's make sure we talk today regardless. I haven't heard back. So I'll let you know as soon as I talk to him.
Yeah, and I didn't take it way down, really touch it up, but, you know, whatever. I just haven't heard anything, so.
What I would suggest is, you know, with you guys having so much to do and such a small crew, let me talk to Ryan first before you spend any more time. out there, see what they want us to do, and then I'll let you know as soon as I hear from him. I'm trying to get at lunch.
Okay. It seems like they're all hot and bothered to jump on something, but they're not hot and bothered to, when we wanna go down and, you know, have a little meeting, you know, they're not all real worried about getting right back to us so we can get this stuff figured out, but whatever.
Or did it make some rush on the road, or just where they put,
Well,
in there?
what we did is I went in, down on the south end of the campground, and I didn't know this at the time, I don't think Laura knew at the time, you know, they've got that campground broke up to where, you know, the county maintains part of that campground road, you know, for so far. And then, you know, just beyond that, I mean, it's not even 200 yards south of that, you know, there's a big dip
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
where they put all the Christmas trees, you know,
Right.
out there, and then they put the cable on, you know, waste about into it. But we took and filled that big dip up. I put a culvert at the bottom. I thought, you know, let's get it filled in. Because I've got some material out there on Hahn Road. I was digging that ditch out, so if, you know, we get some high water, you know, it'd go on down, stay on the north side of the road and go on down the lake. Well, I dug that ditch out, hauled the material over there, and, you know, they didn't like it, so, but anyway, we had a little powwow about that last month and a half ago, but anyway, it's a little, it was soft, so,
It was nicely done. I think it's just soft. It needs to be,
yeah.
you know,
And
worn
it's
like
dry.
any road.
Yeah.
What's that?
And it's packing and drying, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it was bad 2 weeks ago, I know that, but it's not near as bad as it was
Right,
this
right.
morning, so. Anyway, we're just waiting for their response because, you know, it's like I told them that day, I said, you want me to dig it out, I'll dig it out and haul it away, I'll take it somewhere else, you know, and just, I was just trying to help them out a little
Yeah.
bit and making sure that things get over there a little bit easier, but I guess they don't want that, so. Anyway.
And they're the ones that asked us to kind of hold off on anything
Yeah.
as far as tearing it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dana
That's-
was.
That's where they are under that lease there. If you wanna, where the parking areas are, you know, if you wanna put 2 campers here and one the crossways, or the way it's set, and you go and change one a little bit, it's gotta be all approved by them.
Oh, I-
Oh, yeah.
but I didn't know that, I thought we kinda carried on down, you know, through that whole area there, you know, and I was wrong, so.
And there is
That was quite a
a
dip there, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
anyway, we're waiting on that.
I want to thank you for doing that ditch. I'm right there on Homestead.
Oh, okay,
I got one of those 2 pole barns
Yeah.
right there, the big one.
yeah,
And I want to thank you for doing that road because boy, that water came across our property and
Oh, I know.
washed everything out
yeah, yeah.
instead of going down the road.
Yeah, and where we did that bottom stretch there, you know, last summer, you know, I mean, it was
Yeah.
right there on that corner there, I just knew if we didn't get that ditch dug out there and we got some high water, it would shoot right back over.
Yeah, I'm just glad I don't drink and wind up in that ditch.
Yeah. Well, we're not done with it yet either, I mean, we're gonna go back up and.
Yeah,
you know.
well, thank you for doing that because that'll save us some problems next time that happens.
Oh, I think so.
Well, we had rivers coming through our
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, yeah, everybody out there did, so.
Yeah.
John, do you have a comment?
Yes, I'd like to speak to Dana. Dana, up on Indian Creek, especially there on Suicide Drive, right up past my driveway, it's so corrugated right now that it's really dangerous to drive, especially with anything that's not 4-wheel drive. And there's a lot of other areas right there, and also thank you for letting me and Alan get some gravel from the pit down there. We did treat the bad slopey areas with the ice that we really had a few weeks back.
Yeah,
And thank you for that. And if you've been out to look at the road from Indian Creek to Raidersburg, the Raidersburg cutoff, there's a lot of traffic is being used by the mill there, and they are preparing to put their mill into operations pretty shortly.
where are you, Tom?
They're the old Raidersburg Mill, you know, Miller's Mill,
Yeah,
there at
yeah.
Raidersburg. They're about got that set up. It's all performed and developed. And the people, a lot of them live in Helena and are driving through that way to take the shortcut. and it's a bad road.
Now you're talking Mud Springs Road.
Yeah, right, same thing.
Well,
I call it Raidersburg Cutoff. Anyway, it is in atrocious shape, and it hadn't been addressed or done anything with it for several years.
been a while, yeah.
And I wish you'd give it some thought about that and take a look at it.
Yeah, I'll see what we can do.
All right, thank you.
Anyway, other than that, that's about all we're doing right now, is stockpiling, but we'll be.
Haven't heard any more from Delvers, I guess everything's,
No, I went out
Okay,
there
down
last
there.
week and put a couple delineators up, you know,
Good.
one on each side, and got her taken care of. We haven't had any gravel yet there, but it'll be, should be good. I think it'll be fine. If it isn't, I guess we'll do some.
okay.
Other than that, that's about all I got.
Yeah, I haven't been hearing, other than with Delver, I haven't heard anything else, so, yeah.
Okay, one more thing, did you, I know last time we talked, you were gonna check on that longevity thing for,
Yeah, okay, and I haven't got a final answer. I've talked to some different ones that know something about it. First of all, the sheriff's department's in statute that they have longevity. Some counties have it and some don't.
yeah, I know
Well, from what I understand, and I haven't got the final word yet, that those are counties like, Anaconda, Deer Lodge. You know, they got about 6 or 8 people, it's almost like a council thing.
that.
In commissions like ours, we only go on what the legislature puts out. So at this point, I still don't have the final word
Okay.
on this longevity.
Yeah, and I don't know what there is to it, whether, I mean, whether it's up to you three to, you know, put that into effect, or not put it into effect, or, you know, study it a little bit more.
Yeah, to know, but for what this one person told me, it wasn't because of our type of government. The commissioners can't do it. Those different types of local governments, such as that one like Anaconda, Deer Lodge, and I think there may be some others. Apparently, there the commissioners can do it.
Who was your source for that, Franklin?
Just the different ones I've talked to.
Who? Just curious, who did you talk to?
When I get the final word, I'll let you know.
Oh, it's a secret.
Oh yeah, it's a DVD secret.
Anyway, I just, you know,
Yeah, that's where it
following up
stands,
on
right,
it.
yeah. And I got, I thought at that conference I'd get found out, but maybe so, they were also busy and stuff.
All right, sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, good work.
If you wanna give me the call, someone wouldn't mind, maybe I'll.
Yeah, I do know one thing, I mean, my guys are wondering about it, they've been wondering about it, you know, and the only thing I'm afraid of is one of these days they're gonna get tired of it and they're gonna call the union.
Call what?
The union. They'll get a union in here, you know, and that's what, I can't be in it anyway, but
Mm-hmm, right.
I'm not a union guy anyways. Just so you know. Anyway, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
Yeah, you bet. Good day.
You too.
Yeah.
Okay, 10:30. Junk vehicle bids. Talking to Tammy, and there wasn't any other than what Gerald had sent about 3 weeks ago, or whatever it was. So, and I was just looking at it, and I don't have it with me, what his was, but I think it was in the minutes that time, but he,
We can't make a decision without having that, even if it's only one response. We still have to go through the process of introducing it, sharing the amounts, making a decision based on his letter. So we still have to follow the
I will
process.
table till we get the, there won't be any more coming in, so we know it's just the one bid, so we'll be able to get that information. Come on through if you want, Dusty.
What's that?
Come on through, don't worry about it.
Oh, I was just looking for wind.
Oh,
We had a tip on where Jesper is at.
Oh,
So
cross
I
your
just
fingers.
called the police department where he's supposedly at, and they're gonna go look for him right now. So hopefully he's still there.
Good luck.
time, we'll go through some mail here. I'll let you report on this. Is from the hospital auxiliary. It says you're the contact individual. You wanted,
You can just announce what this is for the minutes. It's for the hospital auxiliary leprechaun festival. It is this Saturday from 11 to 1:30 at the school multipurpose room. You can purchase lunch for $8. Children are less expensive. There'll be a silent auction. There will be entertainment. We have a couple of kids that take part in the dance class in Helena, and they will be performing, and we'll also have Elios. So Saturday, 11 to 1:30. And all the money goes to help pay for hospital equipment, upgrades, that kind of thing. You should actually keep that since Elaine's not here.
is that yours?
No, that's Elaine's.
Oh. Okay, we got payroll ending second 15, 15, and it is an amount of $180,135.08.
When we approve payroll in the sum of 180,135.08.
I'll second, move the second, we pay payroll of the sum of $180,135.08. All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment? Did you say 180,000? It's usually about 140,000. Is there any?
Well, all that
explanation?
stuff's coming in from, the lawsuit and the pay adjustments and all that, so
Okay,
it's jumping.
jumped $40,000 for a 2-week pay period.
There's a note that was included on that. The payroll includes actually the retro back to July 1st.
Okay,
Yeah,
So
why
that's
it's
why
high.
it's so high. It was only the electeds and deputies as a result of not being able to get the Public Safety Commission going.
okay.
And so it's actually the retro is why it jumped so much. It isn't an ongoing increase.
The reason
that
I
extent.
ask is an auditor would take a look at that, immediately ask for an explanation.
And they should,
And that's what I did.
absolutely. And there was just a written explanation that really should have been read for the public, so you guys would all know.
Okay.
Franklin, has that been all settled now? Has it all been worked out between the entities?
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
So that is about a $40,000 increase.
Oh, it's gonna be, well, there's gonna be more than that,
And
I'm
is
sure.
it going to continue? The 17,000?
Well, it jumps up because it's retroactive, but the high cost is gonna continue forever.
Okay.
Oh. How come there's two, oh, this one for the 15. Here's it. It's even more so. Total payroll expenses, she's got highlighted here, gross pay plus employer contributions. It's at $215,341.48.
Okay. Differences between those two are probably your benefits,
So we,
increase in benefits, do you think, Amy?
I'm guessing that one of them has the 56 cents per employee that was the general COLA raise given per the county compensation board, also retro to July 1st.
Okay.
So we're looking at these raises for all employees from July 1st to today. It's a nice check for the employees. It's a scary report on payroll.
okay, so this is the one for, ending 2/28/15. So, and the total on that is $215,341.48. Do we have a motion on this?
Approve we pay payroll in the sum of $215,341.48.
I'll second it. Been moved and second, we pay payroll $215,341.48. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. This is
One thing that Franklin needs to be stated for everyone is that 180,000 was for last payroll, 215 is for this payroll. One is for 213 and the other's for 228. So it needs to be differentiated.
Here's a phone bill, and all it says in here, this does not belong to the sheriff. Should we ask her about, she'll be here later, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we need to address who's gonna pay all the late charges for that whole situation.
Public comment?
Go ahead.
Didn't I read in the paper that you were gonna pay for that, Franklin?
No, that's, what I paid for, we're going through claims like this, and there was one claim from detention center. And I said, I'll talk to Nick during the noon hour. Well, I set it here with my stuff, and I didn't see him during the noon hour. Went through, took all the claims over, and it was starting my head, and they got hold of me. No reason I'd take a claim. Well, so I went and looked, well, I did see my stuff. And so they said there was a late fee of $31. I said, I'll pay it. My fault because it got mixed up with some other stuff here, but that's how that is. That's altogether different.
Well, thank you.
This is some planning on the Lewis and Clark and Helena National Forest. It's quite a different thing, anything, fire mitigation, beetle kill, timber harbor wilderness, grazing, wildlife weed control. I guess we'll just leave that out to whoever wants to look at it, and then it'll be in the Commissioner's room.
And it needs to go to Ann, Franklin, because it's mail.
Well, if anybody wants to look at it in the meantime. Someone is here, I think we brought this up. Let's see, last we put ACL and Montana jails in crisis, put that there with you can, and it'll be open if anybody wants to look at that.
This is the report on our detention center, if anybody does want to see it. ACLU's been doing investigations and walkthroughs of all of them in the state.
Laura, is that a situation with the ACLU, if they find problems with the jail and sue the county, is it like the environmental suits? Does the ACLU get paid for that suit?
That I don't know. I do know that, Broadwater County came out pretty good in this report, but other detention centers have had to do very costly, changes to, inmate, exercise yards, addressing overcrowding. There's a whole list of things, but, I don't know about that. And I don't know how many of them have resulted in lawsuits either.
Mr. Smith, could I speak?
Quick.
In reference to the conditions in our jail, I had a personal encounter with the jail, one 24-hour period, which threw me into tremendous amount of health problems. And being a contractor in the air-conditioned business and environmental thing in South Florida for many years, I analyzed what went on there, and it's devastating. I put a piece of toilet paper over the vent. In 4 hours, it turned gray from the foul particles coming out of the vent, and the handling of the cleanups with the harsh materials threw me into a condition that ended up putting me in the hospital. And I've incurred now over $6,000 worth of doctor and hospital bills, which I wanted y'all to know. And
Thanks for bringing it up, and you probably did it, let them know about it too, so, but it'll be,
well, yes, I've been pretty quiet about it.
when they're going through checking everything, hopefully they'll check that out.
I would like for, if there's any further contact, to do it with you through them because of my other complications here in the courthouse. If you would, please.
Okay, we'll figure out something. Here's from Broadwater County Trust Board. Broadwater County Commission, Broadwater County Trust Board of Directors has voted to approve funding of a new sprinkler system, decoder clock, and individual station decoders for the current sprinkler system. This project does not involve any changes to the land, property at the golf course. The Trust Board approved funding of $13,905. The balance of the project, $4,000, will be supplied by Old Baldy Recreation. The Old Baldy Recreation Association will submit invoices at a later date for payment. If there are any questions, please call Virgil Binkley or Debbie Randolph. And it says here, it's noticed to Laura, it says the Trust Board approved this grant. Please have the commissioners give their final approval ASAP. Thanks so much, Debbie. Email or call me with any questions. I guess all we need is a motion to accept their funding of this sprinkler system.
We need two things. One is the motion. I move that we approve the grant request from the golf course to the trust board in the sum of $13,095.
Is that a motion?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll second that. Moved and seconded, we support the funding for $13,905 for the sprinkler system of the golf course by the trust board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
The second thing they need in order to implement that, they do need a response from the commission in writing. That's for their records, for their protection. They're just an advisory board, so everything they do has to be approved by the commission.
So we still, you wanna make a motion, or is that your motion in that effect then?
No, it's not a motion, it's just letting you know that you need to respond to them in the affirmative in writing, so they have that for their records. Because they're advisory, they do not have the legal authority to do anything without written okay from the commission.
Well, I'm not gonna write any letters, or I'll contact them, tell them it's been approved.
The auditors are going to require that for them, Franklin. It's part of the job.
here's from. This is kind of a question here from the county form of government. This is Deer County Clerk, the International City/County Management Association has conducted a form of government surveys for many years. This survey gathers comprehensive information on county form of government, election system provision, referendum recall, and then a summary of the results will be well, they got a website here. Please contribute to the citizens body knowledge by completing a survey and returning it Friday, March 1st. Looks like the argument mark is, please indicate which of the following is best describes your current legal form of government as defined by your charter, ordinance, or state law. Each elected commissioner or board member may serve as director of one or more functional departments, public works director, health and human services, in addition to his or her policy making role. Presiding officer may be chosen from the board or elected directly by county judges, properly known as the commission form of government. And the other one is council administrative form, council management form of government, and council elected.
That is a lengthy survey. Doug started it and then realized it was for county commissioners, not county clerks and recorders. So he answered the first question for you. All the others need to be done by the commission.
Should we go through them right now? Fill them out. How is your county structure or form of government established? Charter, state law, local ordinance, county resolution, other. I guess state law, right?
No, there's I don't know how many different forms of government. Each government, each county determines their own.
We're still operating under state law though. Because we're not a charter government, and we're not a council resolution.
What are the answers? What's the full question? What are the answers to choose from?
How is your county structure of form of government established? A charter, state law, local ordinance, council resolution, or other.
It would be the, for that one, probably the state.
That's it.
You follow the state process.
I'll go ahead and mark that off.
And then it would be a county resolution that determines it, but it doesn't look like that's a choice.
Does your county have a position of chief appointed officer? That would be no.
Correct.
If your county does have the position of chief appointed officer, what action? Okay, we don't have, so skip that, I guess. If your county does have the position of chief appointed officer, who appoints a chief appointed official, check. Well, same again, we don't have that. How is your presiding officer selected? Voters elect directly, commission selects from among its members. The commission member receiving the most votes in the general election before the presiding officer becomes a presiding officer. Commission members rotate into the position of presiding officer. It'll be D then, commissioners rotate into the position of presiding officer.
Both B and D.
It says check only one. So either one would work. Is the presiding officer a member of the commission? Yes. How long is the presiding officer's term of office? If the presiding officer is a member of the commission, specify the terms of the position of presiding officer, not of commissioner member. 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, or other. So that'd be 1 year. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Does the presiding officer have the authority to veto commission passed measures?
You saw Harold's
Yes.
email? No.
Huh?
No.
He has a.
You have a 2-page email from Harold Blatty. The answer's no. You have to have a majority vote of the commission on everything we do.
Oh, well, majority, okay, we can still Okay.
So one cannot override the other two.
And, okay, yes, we don't, okay, since 2007, any recall initiative been filed against the presiding officer? No. How many seats vacant and filled are on your commission? Include the presiding officer, that position serves on the commission. Presiding officer is a member of the commission, your answer to question 5 should be yes. One there then. How many current commission members are? Total number of commission members should equal the total commission, male, female. 1 and 2. 1 male, 2 female. How many current commission members? Total number of commission members should equal the amount in question, Native American, Hispanic, Asian, white, black. This is a bunch of bureaucracy here, what this is.
It really should be done outside of the meeting and
Well,
brought to the meeting
That's
so
what I'm
that
wondering.
it can be vetted by the
This
commission.
just goes on, I didn't realize there was that much over here.
If you'd finish it at lunch, you can go through it very quickly in the afternoon and get it vetted and approved. That's the kind of homework that should be done before the meeting.
We get all kinds of bureaucracy stuff too. Oh, I'm gonna, since the sheriff is here, I'm gonna, there was evidently a century, or Bill, something come to you, you just said that, are you the one that wrote on here, this is not for the sheriff?
Yeah, that's not my static line, I have a static line. I didn't establish that static line. That's not in my office.
Okay. So I guess it's, county to pay it, and we're, just explain a little more on it than it would.
I have a IP static line in my office,
Okay,
and I don't know who, Doug must establish that static line?
this one here,
Yeah, that's not mine.
okay.
I've had one for 3 years now.
Okay, we got approved claims from last week. We have a total of $112,751.37.
Move to pay the approved claims in the amount of $112,751.37.
I'll second that. We moved to second, we pay the total for claims of $112,751.37. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. Here's that, Debbie, or I mean, Tammy, we have to pay their dues to Montana Hard Rock Mining.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need a motion to I guess we do, 'cause it's a.
What fund is it coming out of?
She's got the fund 1,000.
What it needs to be done is signed so that you can approve it, and we actually have a line item for that in our budget. So it doesn't need a vote, but it does need a signature. You can't sign a claim twice. You need to have that, the 2 signatures by 2 different
I'll
people
let
for
you
the
sign
check
as
and
requested,
balance.
and I'll sign it
Yes.
as the other.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, just go right in the regular claims, okay. Here for. Okay, this is Northwest Energy, this is to take, for the ambulance building, take out a pilt. So all we need is the same thing, so you wanna sign this request or? Well, you may have a motion to take it out of pilt.
Mm-hmm. The total, please?
$1,203.88.
1,203. Right, I move that we pay from PILT the ambulance building heating and power in the amount of $1,203.88.
I'll second the motion. Motion on the floor that we take money out of pilt to pay the ambulance extension office heating, and it total of $1,203.88. All in favor?
I
Aye. Motion passed.
I have a question.
need to sign it, Franklin,
Oh.
you can't sign twice.
That seems awful large. What was the previous bill?
The cost to heat the ambulance building is astronomical. It is very large. In fact, Mike said at the meeting last week or the week before that it costs more to heat that building than it does this courthouse. So we do have Debbie Ruckel. We don't have an extension agent right now. So we have Debbie Ruckel who will be moving over into the courthouse as soon as she gets some preliminary work done. And she can do that. She'll be basically fielding phone calls and doing paperwork. So the extension office will essentially be closed and we'll just keep it warm enough to keep the ambulances at a temperature they need to be kept at. So we'll be saving that soon. That was the building project. Will answer that heating charge that really was only supposed to be for a few months. It's been now for 2 years. I'll give you this one, Ann. Part of a vote.
Did you go through these journal entries that Doug left there?
No, I will when we're in our office.
Okay.
They should be put separately so that Elaine and I can go through those.
Right, and I brought the others in because I thought Elaine was in here, but I'll take them back down there too then.
They need to be put on the agenda, Franklin, so that we can approve those in public. The auditors will look for that as well. We have a mail policy that says that elements of the mail will be kept in a place where we can all go through them. We should have a place set where all the adjusting journal entries, treasurer's reports, cash reports are kept so that we can go through those in the commission office.
That's where they've been there, in that folder in the commission office.
There's some that are actually in your file in the desk. We need to have a place that's put central so we can all go through them. I would suggest maybe on the second shelf of the big bookshelf in the middle of the room. If you're in agreement.
That's fine, I mean, is there a wire carrier or something is there, we put the stuff in?
No, and I wouldn't suggest we go out and spend more taxpayers' money on something like that when we have a shelf we could put it on.
Okay, I mean, what shelf are you talking about?
Again, the second shelf, or third or first, whatever one you decide, on the big bookshelf that was in the center of the room.
It's on the left there now.
Mhm. If you would pile all the adjusting journal entries, the treasurer's reports on that, then we can go through it. And then they wouldn't be messing up the mail and adding to the confusion over there.
That's yours. We got the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes for February
23rd.
23rd, as submitted.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded, we accept the minutes for February 23rd, 2015. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Ann. You should have another claim there that needs to have duplicate signatures from the Broadwater reporter. This is not duplicate, it's two signatures, isn't it?
Yes. Okay, 11 o'clock. I have a public hearing on budget amendments. Who wants to start it off?
Franklin, point of order, you have in your packet of mail the public hearing process as presented to us by Dan Clark from the Local Government Center. At the recent board training we attended, a public hearing needs to be set separately of a general commission meeting. You need to follow that process, and it's spelled out for you.
Yeah, that's right. We recessed our regular meeting and we went to the public meeting, public hearing for budget amendments. Who wants to start it off?
Where do you guys wanna start?
Franklin, it's been the practice of this commission and also as part of that paperwork from Dan Clark at the Local Government Center regarding public hearings, that the resolution should be read in full, especially if there's public present.
Let's see. In consultation with the county attorney and according to MCA, part of the budget amendment process requires that all affected department heads, elected heads, public hearing defend their budget question with the public. So Monday at 11 a.m. the commission will hold a public hearing on a proposed budget amendment. Please plan. This is sent out to all the government heads. There are always budget amendments as we get closer to the end of the year, so there will be more. But this amendment is only to deal with the sheriff's office wage issue, lawsuit settlement. Others will be addressed later, as is the usual practice. numbers around it, but these are going to be taken from PILT.
Franklin, you have the actual resolution, that's the email that was sent.
Maybe I have it. This one here is sent out by Debbie.
No, it's not an email you're looking for, Franklin. You need to read the resolution, and it's in your packet for this public hearing that had the public hearing on the top. It's got all the amendments spelled out, as well as the resolution, and then the public hearing instructions.
And this one here. What are you talking about?
That's the Broadwater County Public Procedure Policy. That's coming up on the agenda later on this afternoon. It's a separate subject.
Oh, here it is. Should I read all this off, budget amendment?
That's been practice of this commission, and it's also spelled out in the public hearing instructions that you got from Dan Clark at the Local Government Center last Friday, the 20th of February.
Okay. Where section 7-6-406, MCA states that the governing body may amend the budget during the fiscal year by conducting public hearings at regularly scheduled meetings. Budget amendments providing for additional appropriations must identify the fund reserves, unanticipated revenue, or previously unbudgeted revenue that can fund the appropriations. Where section 76-405, MCA states in part, local government officials may not make a disbursement or expenditure or incur an obligation in excess of the total appropriations for a fund. Where several unforeseen circumstances arose during the 2014-2015 fiscal year and expenditures/revenue funds need to be revised accordingly. Now therefore it is to hereby resolve that Colorado County is making the following required expenditures and revenue budget amendments effective March 2nd, 2015. This is a summary of the total change to fund. Fund 1,000. General fund expenditure budget amendment increased $106,000, added $38,991. Commissioners $28,420. Justice Court $25,173. Fund 1,000, general fund, interfund operating transfer from PILT increased by $92,584. Fund 1,000, general fund expenditure budget amendments decreased by $24,876, move corner to public safety. Fund 2180, district court expenditure budget amendment increased by $31,140. Fund 2300, public safety expenditure budget amendment increased by $35,831. Fund 2300, public safety expenditure budget amendment, MRDTF, decreased by $10,957. Fund 2300, public safety expenditure budget amendment, BOR, increased by $236. Fund 2300, public safety expenditure budget amendment, control, decreased by $3,137. Fund 2303, detention center expenditure budget amendment, decreased by $5,907. Fund 2300, public safety expenditure budget amendment, increased by $24,870, corner to public safety. Fund 2300 Public Safety Expenditure Budget Amendment, corner, decreased by 6,385. Fund 2900 PILT, interfund operating transfer out, decreased by $92,581 of general fund. For comments? Okay. Brenda's gonna make copies. Any comments before she gets back? You waiting to hear from her? Sheriff, are you ready to comment, or?
Is there also gonna be a decrease to the revenue budget on the public safety budget by the same amount for the MRDTF? Because that's a grant,
It was never budgeted in the first place.
it was added on the revenue.
It was on the it was on the expenditure, but it never got in the revenue. So it already reflects no revenue received from it. I checked. It was missed the first time as revenue.
I was thinking that it was on both sides.
It should be, but I didn't get it in as revenue the first time, just the expenditure. So it actually will balance it out.
And on the corner budget, are the funds coming over with the corner budget?
The original from the general fund to public safety is being transferred. And then from there, the decrease will be decreased to public safety based on the agreement, settlement agreement. It'll be further reduced, the expenditure that way.
And how about the cash reserves? For the corner?
There wasn't any cash reserves in corner out of the general fund,
To carry,
because the general fund doesn't have any.
to carry them through the next year?
There wasn't any cash reserve for any specific account in the general fund to begin with.
So there's gonna be a 24,000 increase to the public safety budget, is my understanding?
We thought we're gonna have to look at month by month.
But the sheet you gave me stated that the total cost with overtime was a $35,000 increase.
What sheet?
This one that you emailed me on Friday.
Total increase to
Yeah.
public safety,
Yeah.
35 $35,831.
So I guess my question is, how does that all pencil out?
It's gonna be month by month as expenses and revenues balance. I don't have a way of projecting where we're at right now with your actuals versus what the carry was gonna be, because there wasn't enough cushion the beginning of the budget year, and that's why
And then my question
month by
is,
month.
why wouldn't a $35,000 budget amendment be in rather than a $25,000? If the difference would be 35,000, why wouldn't a $35,000 budget amendment be rather than a $25,000 budget amendment? If the difference is 35,000 on the sheet, why wouldn't there be a budget amendment for 35,000?
There is increase to 35,831, public safety.
Maybe we should understand.
Right under 2180 district court.
Well, down below it says, okay, never mind, I was reading two different lines. I have two different budget, or two different resolutions here. I have one thing. I have two different sheets, I guess. What, an email and,
The emails were preliminary before I got all the fine tuning, detail done, final calculations. These are current,
So use the resolution and not the email.
yes.
okay,
Okay,
And the email says these are just rounded, so
that's fine. I just want to make sure to look at.
yeah, and I will make sure to,
Yeah, no, the resolution is the correct with the attachment.
and on the detention center, there's gonna be no transfer? Is that what I understand?
He's breaking pretty much even, yes,
So disregard what was on the email?
yes. The resolution and the attachment are the current numbers.
Okay. Is there any way to get the detailed reports on these that I've been asking for? Is how I've got so many employees, to make sure that each
Detail meaning,
employee by employee,
got a few days, I don't have a way to recreate. The budget sheets that I work with, there's, to print them so you can read them, you need a magnifying glass. Otherwise, you've got 20 pages and
hey Debbie,
they're hard to explain.
you already gave this, you could just give her another copy, right?
Yeah, it just doesn't have the deputy, it doesn't have the dispatcher detention on it.
And those could be
And they
added,
could be added.
yeah,
yeah,
Maybe
I've got
that
them on,
would
I've got them on.
help
the
her to get that
deputies.
again.
Yeah, I can add those.
And Debbie, this might help Brenda as well, could you explain where the, funds that have the negative difference, where that money will go within their budgets? Do you understand my question?
No.
When I asked you, in your office on Thursday, you told me that any of the funds that have the negative carryover, like on these sheets where it's negative, that would revert into their cash accounts.
Right, that means that's
So-
just not something, they're spending. Negatives are savings on these, meaning you're not spending that, so it'll stay in your cash until you spend it elsewhere or carry over into your reserves. For spending at the end of the year.
So that money's not lost, it's staying in the account.
Staying in your account, it just doesn't deplete your cash. Or your bank. In this case, the negative is actually a good thing.
So come budget time, when it comes time to budget the coroner and the public safety for the mills will go with the coroner.
Is that right, Debbie?
I'm asking you guys so that,
Okay, what is it again?
well, the mills that are currently in the general fund will go with the coroner budget over to the public safety budget. Currently, the coroners are funded by mills in the general fund. Does that make sense?
So the mills that are funded now should continue on.
Well, I mean, I don't have them in the public safety budget to fund them. That's my question to you.
Well, I would think so that the mills that are funding it now can go on into your, with your other mills. Actually be an addition there, right?
Well, that's what I'm asking the commission.
That's what I would think.
First comment is, this was brought to us by Mike Saystad when we all got together over coming up with the solution. His comment was, coroner should never be under public, general fund, it should be under public safety because that's who supervises it. That makes sense. We followed Mike Saystad's direction on that. Second thing is this is following through because it's part of the settlement per Mike Saystad. That's why it's part of this budget amendment. We are not talking about next year's budget at this time. We have, at least as long as I've been on the board, which is 6 years, we have always been good to your department and more than fair to your department. We're not gonna change that now, and I don't think that right now is the time to be talking about the budget process that'll start 5 months from now. This is the time to be talking about this budget amendment. We've never left you high and dry. We're not gonna start now, but we can't make any promises because we don't know what the budget looks like. I think it's a slippery slope to just start making promises at this point. I, for one, will not do it. I'll let you just rest on our history.
Can I ask a question on that? So coroner right now is still under general, but you're saying it should be moved. You're gonna recommend in the next budget that it be moved to public safety. Is
I'm
that
gonna
accurate?
recommend, per Mike Saystad, that it be moved now. And then, yes, next budget season, it will be part of the public safety budget.
But
There
this spreadsheet still shows it under general though. Am I misreading that?
It shows it twice, and it's in the amendment, that'll come out of general fund and go into public safety. There will be funding that'll go with that. How much that will be at this point to make promises is something we just don't have the crystal ball for.
Well, and that's my issue, is my reserves at this point are low. And you increase my expenditures to a greater capacity, which makes my reserves even lower.
Part of this transfer, it makes it a wash, because any money associated with it that was in the general fund is being transferred when it becomes part of the public safety. So it's not gonna change any reserves you have at this point, because the money's already been budgeted in the general fund, and the amendment's moving it to your fund.
To include the reserves for.
With what's for this fiscal year, with what's in it for this fiscal year.
So Debbie, you're saying that both expenditures and revenues for the coroner are going to public safety. We're just taking the whole package and switching it over into a
Taking it
different
from
fund,
1,000
right?
to 23,000.
So we're not just giving her more expenses and keeping the revenue somewhere else, we're switching the revenue to her as well.
Correct.
So can I ask a follow-up on that? So that Fund 1,000, general fund expenditure budget amendment decreased by 24,876, move corner to public safety, that's what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Then down below, Fund 2,300, public safety expenditure budget amendment increased by 24,876, corner to public safety. So that's the same number. But then the one below it says decrease the coroner by 6,385.
And that has to do with the savings from the settlement. Brenda's reduced her,
You got something, Lynn?
Yeah.
Thomas Jessberger's in custody.
Nicely done.
I'm excited.
Absolutely, thanks for the interruption.
Yeah.
In Florida.
Wow.
and then the decrease is based on the settlement because Brenda is reducing her coroner allotment based on the settlement. But we'd also had budgeted extra money before all this to catch them up for raises they didn't get last year. So there was actually more money budgeted until all this changed, so the decrease looks like more.
But how much did your coroner stipend go down? It didn't go down by 6,300.
No, but this is the extra that was budgeted when we were anticipating them to get back pay from last year's. They didn't get a raise and it was missed in all the budget process in fiscal year 13. So they were catching them up to 13 and 14, so it was gonna be a big jump until this whole settlement thing changed that.
So that $6,300 remains in the public safety budget?
No, it's just increasing everything from what it, went back to July 1st, had none of this stuff happen, and it was part of public safety. Her budget and the deputies, that's how much extra.
So where does that money go? We're reducing an expenditure by $6,300. So that money that we're not paying out is gonna remain where? It would ordinarily be general fund, but you just move the whole amount to public safety. So if then we're not spending that, that 6,300 should be remaining in public safety. Is that accurate?
Well, if we took it away from the general fund, it wouldn't be in the general fund either, necessarily.
But you moved it from general fund to public safety, then reduced the expenditure in public safety, so that if we actually were dealing with piles of money here, that's a pile of money that would be sitting in public safety. Conceptually, I'm asking that, I could be wrong, but I'm asking that.
And Debbie, when you look at the amendment, or excuse me, and when you look at the resolution, second from the bottom, it says Fund 2300, Public Safety Expenditure Budget Amendment Coroner, decreased by 6385. So that right there says that that money is going into the cash of the Public Safety Department. And this
Yes.
one is just this is nothing more than just a spreadsheet to help you guys see it more easily, to give you more of the detail you're looking for. But this is not the resolution. This is the resolution. This is what you look at. So this says that money will revert to cash for public safety. So
Yes.
this one, if you want, for your own clarity, just scratch off 1,000 here and put 2,300.
On page 3,
Mm-hmm.
But just as decrease, so she-
As a decrease, that means you're not spending that, so it increases your reserves because you're not spending it. So by a negative number means you're not spending that 6,300. So it's staying in her reserves. Because it's all being transferred. So it's not going anywhere, it's actually helping her. So it is carrying forward.
And to help you understand how these are different, the savings was realized in the general fund. But the savings is being given to public safety with the switchover. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So it's a Valentine's Day gift.
Go ahead.
I got a question. Now that I guess the wage resolution has came to fruition and everything is made whole on that area, my question is, what are you guys going to do about the 56-cent COLA increase that you guys offered in September, held until the wage resolution was fixed? you offered it, you discussed your resolution in December 22nd meeting and said that you were going to hold off on the elected officials' 56-cent COLA increase until we had the corrected numbers of the sheriff deputies' wages.
Right, maybe Debbie can tell the breakdown on that.
I don't have any information on that. That's all part of something I wasn't a part of.
Okay, I guess maybe Cory could answer it better.
I can try to, I'll provide you, we've been talking quite a bit about this, Aaron and I have, and that's Aaron Foley from the Teamsters, just so everybody's clear on who we're talking to.
Thank you.
So when we reduced the settlement to writing in January, I remember I went back and watched all the videos, and this was a question that was unanswered in my mind. We've discussed this a couple of times in front of the commission. What I understood the commission was saying, let's go back to the commitment from 2014. What I understood the commitment was going to be from the commission, or was in 2014, was that there would be an increase in salary for the elected officials of 56 cents per hour, just like all the other employees. Then that basically would translate, not exactly, but by percentage down to the deputies, because the sheriff's pay went up, the deputies' wages would change. Then after September, when that commitment was made, what happened? We had a lawsuit in October, and we ultimately had this settlement that was done in December and finalized in January and February, which said, here's how we're going to change all the elected officials' wages. We started with the base number of 46,000 for the sheriff, and then the 2,000 for her, and then we based the deputies' wages off of that by that percentage that was in the agreement. So the question remained, and I asked the commission this when we were in the probably first or second draft of that settlement, is there another 56 cents per hour increase for elected officials coming after that, or is this considered that raise? Well, as it turns out, that raise to the sheriff and the other elected officials was more than 56 cents per hour. So it was either, we did the raise and then it was immediately superseded by setting the wage level that we did to settle the lawsuit, or we set that wage level to settle the lawsuit, and then the commission would come back later and add another 56 cents per hour to the sheriff and the other elected officials. That question was basically unanswered. It was the commitment, what I believe the commitment was that we would settle the lawsuit and leave the additional 56 cents per hour for elected officials for another day. So Erin and I have talked quite a bit because she interprets it differently, and her members may interpret it differently, that there was a plan to, once the lawsuit was settled, there was a plan to go back and add the additional 56 cent per hour increase for the other elected officials. What I understand the commission communicated to me on 2 different occasions was this was the increase we want to do for this amended for this year, and the budget amendment to carry this out, and that when we start the amendment or the budget process for next year, we need to go to the compensation board, and we assume this issue is going to come up, and we need to address whether the elected officials' wages need to go up. But I don't know that Erin agrees entirely with that interpretation. So that's we've talked about it, and I told her, well, you should probably be here and we should talk about it now. I think now is a good time to make sure we at least are aware of the issue and address the issue. But my interpretation coming out of both the December settlement meeting before I was county attorney, and then my further conversations with you, was that the commission didn't intend to immediately add another raise to elected officials. Having said that, obviously this is important to the deputies, because if the sheriff's wages go up, then that will affect their wages by those percentages that are set. So that's where we are. Do you want to add anything to that, Erin?
Just that when we had the settlement agreement from Mike Seastad that we went through, the 56 cent per hour was included in that agreement, and then the agreement that we had, the deputies had signed and turned in, it also referenced the 56 cents. And then you guys didn't do your vote and discussed it that day, and 2 out of 3 of you said yes, the 56 cents would be given on top of the wage resolution. Because the COLA, the wage resolution, the sheriff's office lawsuit, they're all 3 different separate issues that occurred. And the COLA was offered in September. It was held under, the issue of, was made that the union was the one holding up the 56 cents to everyone. So in that December meeting, we agreed to release that 56 cents to everyone except for the elected officials until we got the calculations of the wage agreement resolution fixed.
So could I add something to that? So if you recall, when I came back from with the original Teamsters approval letter, there were two issues that I addressed to you that needed to be looked at with that letter. One was that it said a one-time freeze of the Me Too clause, which couldn't apply to the sworn deputies. They have to be tied by law to the statute, to the sheriff's office. We all came out of that understanding that the non-sworn personnel in the sheriff's office, that the Me Too clause would still apply to them, between, say, employees that get a raise on this side of the wall versus employees that get a raise on that side of the wall. If they're non-sworn on that side of the wall, they are tied together with the Me Too clause. I think we all agreed on that. The second item in that letter was there a commitment to an additional 56 cent per hour raise for the elected officials. So that's the part that at the time I believed that was not a clear commitment from the commission. She sent me a link to the video. I didn't have time to watch it this morning because I chased Mr. Jesperger, but so I haven't looked again at that video. So I don't know if you want to tell us what's on the video.
Yeah, Laura was speaking, and she did, she was the one that recommended doing the 56 cents again. Elaine Gravely did say how it should be given because there are other deputies, the deputy county attorney and one other deputy that aren't tied to just, it's not just the deputies in the sheriff's office that it affected. And when the COLA was given, it was given as a COLA, an increase to everyone. Had we settled this wage resolution in March, you guys may not have given everyone the 56 cents. But by the time we got to December, you guys had the calculations of what it was gonna cost for the wage resolution, what the 56 cent was gonna cost, and going forward, and you guys still approved it. So that's where the question lies is, what are you gonna do with the 56 cents that you told everyone they could get? And we understand that it will go by percentage of our new adjusted scale. That's not a question. We know it won't be exactly 56 cents for every deputy.
56 cents is a catch-all, so you don't have to say the whole paragraph that goes with that.
Right.
Yeah, I think we understand.
Yeah.
But again, when I go through this, I don't believe the commission voted in December to say, after all this is done, there'll be another 56 cent raise. So I just didn't find that in the record, and it wasn't what we included in our code. But it's your decision, not mine.
And it was pretty crystal clear at one point, and then it got really muddy at
Right.
another. It doesn't make any difference to a certain extent, but it's still something we need to talk about. But in order to follow through, we need to have it on the agenda, needs to be a separate item.
Okay.
So what I would suggest is if you're free next Monday, that we have a agended item. If deputies come to that meeting as well, you're more than welcome. We can't make a vote on that today because it's not on either the resolution or the agenda. But we do have the agenda book with us, so give it to the chairman and we could determine a time and have a discussion and have a vote and everyone will
And
go.
the issue, if people wanna go and look on YouTube, it's actually December 2nd, part 4, an hour and 9 minutes in is when it's discussed. When the wage resolution's discussed and then it goes into the 56 cents.
And that was part of Mike Saystad's proposal, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
But his proposal is not the decision of the commission. I mean, let's all be clear on that. I mean,
Sure.
it's a recommendation, it's a piece of paper. He's not the one who makes the budget decisions in this county. You, the commission does. And that's the thing, everyone can say, oh, Mike Saystad said, well, that's great. Mike's a valuable resource, but he'd be the first to tell you, I don't make the budget decisions for Broadwater County.
And I guess I'd just add on that, we also gave you that letter that said we were willing to release the 56 cents to the rest of the county before Christmas, but we figured it wouldn't happen until right after Christmas, and then the elected officials would get them after that, when the calculations were complete.
Yeah, I think what we'll need to do next week is lay out both sides of the argument, all the evidence, and then, have a vote based on, by the commission, based on that evidence
Okay.
and the facts on the ground.
We could do it at 1:45, Monday, March 9th.
Does that work for you too, Corey?
I didn't bring my court schedule with me. Let me go look at it. I'll come right back. And just to be clear, I'm not